Kaiju have fascinated us for decades with their immense power and spectacular battles. But just how do these towering giants rank when pitted against each other across all of fiction? We're starting with a fan-favorite underdog, a colossal ape whose strength and spirit make him a true titan, even if he's outmatched in raw destructive energy. Let's dive into the world of MonsterVerse's King Kong. King Kong Monsterverse. King Kong in the Monsterverse is the classic underdog titan, a massive ape with raw strength, agility, and surprising tool use, but no flashy energy powers. He starts at about 104 feet tall on Skull Island in 1973, already king of his ecosystem. By Godzilla vs. Kong, he's grown into a towering 337-foot giant, a titan-class species guarding the hollow earth below. Before you write off Kong as just a giant monkey, hear me out. He's absurdly strong and nimble, able to leap huge distances, climb giant trees or cliffs, and dodge much bigger monsters. And it's not just his fists. Kong famously wields a primitive battle axe made from ancient titan bones from the hollow earth, turning him into an ape primed for war. His axe can even absorb and channel Godzilla's atomic breath, letting him stand toe-to-toe with the king of the monsters. Officially, Kong is the MonsterVerse's brawler, relying on brute strength, speed, and tools. Unlike Godzilla or Ghidorah, he can't shoot energy blasts or summon storms. His mighty attacks topple skyscrapers and structures, but he's biologically grounded. He doesn't regenerate or soak up radiation, and still needs medical care when injured, so he's far from invincible. Fans speculate if Kong could surpass Godzilla by growing or arming up more, but canon keeps him near the lower end of the Titan power ladder. His strengths are pure physicality and skill, making him the emotional underdog, a fierce protector wielding a unique axe against monsters with glowing, sizzling powers. But if you think Kong's tough, wait until we meet the next beast. Rampage's genetically enhanced monsters who take city destruction to another level. The beast. Rampage. Rampage's Lizzie isn't your usual cosmic kaiju. She's a monstrous product of biotech gone wrong, born from a genetic editing project meant to create weapons. Alongside George the albino gorilla and Ralph the enhanced wolf, Lizzie is the largest, most aggressive, and deadliest of the three. Before you write her off as just a giant lizard, hear me out. Lizzie was engineered to grow enormous, become fiercely aggressive, and regenerate quickly. The movie presents these creatures as biotech disasters. No flashy energy powers, just raw physical power. Lizzie smashes everything in her path. She crushes cars beneath her feet, flips tanks like toys, and tears through Chicago's buildings with her thick, armored hide. She shrugs off heavy gunfire and keeps going, relying entirely on brute strength and remarkable healing. That said, Lizzie's destruction is city-sized. Military forces can slow her down, especially when George regains his mind and helps fight. Despite her massive on-screen presence, visual cues like cars and buildings confirm she's not a continent shaker, just chaos on a metropolitan scale. Fans often overestimate the Rampage beasts, mistaking cinematic shots for world-ending threats, but the film clearly keeps their scale to urban devastation. This is a grounded biotech nightmare, emphasizing real physical terror instead of cosmic powers. If you think Lizzie's rampage is intense, wait until you hear about the next monster. Clover from Cloverfield. Cloverfield. The Cloverfield monster is a walking nightmare ripped straight from a Lovecraft story, a terrifying, dimensionally ambiguous juvenile kaiju whose arrival in New York City brings pure devastation. Unlike classic kaiju with elemental powers or energy beams, Clover relies entirely on overwhelming physical strength and near-impervious biological durability that lets it shrug off heavy artillery, airstrikes, and collapsing buildings. Whatever created this thing, it's made to endure. Estimated between 240 and 270 feet tall. This hulking terror smashes iconic urban landmarks with casual disregard. Skyscrapers crumble, bridges snap, and infrastructure explodes under its massive limbs. Its lanky frame hides grotesque parasitic creatures that emerge and swarm survivors, adding a vicious swarm attack that multiplies Clover's terror beyond just the monster itself. Those parasites aren't just pests, they bite fast and hard, expanding its threat radius in horrifying ways. But here's the kicker. Clover doesn't shoot anything. No atomic breaths, no elemental blasts. Its destruction is brutal and straightforward, delivered through sheer size, strength, and toughness. During the NYC rampage, it acts panicked and confused, like a lost juvenile smashing everything trying to escape. This lack of intelligence turns the scene from epic battle to unstoppable force of nature smashing through a city with zero care. The mystery deepens with fan debates about Clover's true size and possible adult forms. Some argue the canonical scale downplays its enormity, speculating godlike adults lurking beneath the waves. But none of these theories have official proof. The film's found footage style makes precise measurement impossible, leaving it all to imagination, and Dread. Clover is the pure essence of a Lovecraftian kaiju, eldritch horror, biological nightmare, indifferent to humanity. But if you think an unknown invader wiping out one city is scary, wait until we meet Gypsy Danger. The weapon's meant to stop monsters like this. Gypsy Danger. Pacific Rim. Gypsy Danger is humanity's nuclear-powered mech, standing tall against the interdimensional kaiju invasion. Towering 260 feet and weighing nearly 2,000 tons, this Mark III Jaeger combines brute force with smart tech, equipped with plasma cannons for ranged attacks and a retractable chainsword for close combat. Before you dismiss a machine fighting organic monsters, hear me out. Gypsy Danger isn't just a robot, it's a tactical weapon designed to outthink and outfight kaiju on their turf. Its nuclear reactor core powers its weapons and thrusters, and even allows it to self-destruct to seal the breach between dimensions, something no kaiju can do. On screen, Gypsy Danger takes down Category 3 and 4 kaiju, massive creatures capable of leveling cities like Hong Kong. Whether tearing through Leatherback's armored hide or slicing Otachi in half midair, its mix of plasma blasts and brutal melee shows serious versatility. Think David with a very expensive robo-sling. But here's where it gets weird. Gypsy Danger sits in a strange middle ground power-wise. It's less of a raw, destructive force than Godzilla-level monsters, limited by pilot stamina, tech, and sinking human minds with machine limbs. The nuclear reactor boosts power, but only so much. It's a local heavy hitter, not a planetary destroyer. Plus, if the pilots lose focus, the whole system can fail. Despite not being a true kaiju, Gypsy Danger commands respect as humanity's engineered hero. It pairs tactical human intelligence with firepower in a way biological monsters can't, turning dire battles into fights for survival. Its effectiveness is backed by detailed battle scenes and technical specs showing damage, weapon output, and reactor limits. Gypsy Danger may not be nature's force, but it's a key weapon against the kaiju. If you think robotics can't match kaiju power, wait until you see Mechagodzilla crank it to a new level. Mechagodzilla. Monsterverse. Mechagodzilla is the ultimate product of human technological hubris in the Monsterverse, a Titan-sized weapon built by Apex Cybernetics to rival Godzilla himself. Standing a towering 400 feet tall, this mechanical colossus is armed with laser beams, missile launchers, drills, and razor-sharp claws that can shred even the toughest Titans. But Mechagodzilla isn't just a giant robot, it's a hybrid of advanced machines fused with alien neural tech. Here's the kicker, its neural interface is linked to the severed skull of King Ghidorah, granting it semi-organic control and psionic abilities. This creepy fusion of synthetic muscle and alien brainwaves gives Mechagodzilla more than metal and circuits. It carries a corrupt echo of Ghidorah's predatory instincts that grants the machine enhanced reflexes and a terrifying, monstrous will, allowing it to act on its own once human pilots are cut out. Mechagodzilla's destructive debut is brutal, focused on Hong Kong. The city takes a direct hit from its devastating beam attacks that slice through city blocks like paper, while its rampage levels skyscrapers with every swipe of claws and drill. In combat, Mechagodzilla temporarily dominates Godzilla, forcing him onto defense and tearing through Apex's facilities before Kong even arrives. For a time, this metal menace seems like the alpha titan, but here's where it gets weird. Like most machines, Mechagodzilla has glaring vulnerabilities. Damage to its complex systems causes catastrophic malfunctions, and natural titans like Godzilla and Kong work together to exploit these weak points. The neural link to Ghidorah's skull is a double-edged sword too, granting power, but injecting corrupted impulses that destabilize Mechagodzilla's behavior, making it unpredictable. Though its on-screen reign of terror is brief, Mechagodzilla's canonical power is undeniable. It's a terrifying blend of human tech and alien influence. An apex predator built from wires, not genes. Still, limited story scope confines its destruction to one city, and it's ultimately vulnerable to nature's titans. Compared to cosmic kaiju, Mechagodzilla is a heavyweight contender, but a tragic symbol of mankind's flawed attempt to control forces beyond them. If you think a robotic titan with alien brain juice is terrifying, wait till we break down what Mechagodzilla actually does in Godzilla vs. Kong's final battle. Mechagodzilla, Godzilla vs. Kong. Mechagodzilla in Godzilla vs. Kong isn't just a walking weapon, it's a terrifying mix of precise machinery and rogue titan instinct. After Apex's neural link experiment goes wrong, King Ghidorah's residual consciousness hijacks the control, turning Mechagodzilla into a ruthless autonomous force bent on destruction. Suddenly, this mech isn't just a tool, it's a merciless predator with its own agenda. Before you write it off as just another robot, Mechagodzilla proves its dominance early and often. Its red energy beam outright overpowers Godzilla's atomic breath in a direct clash, a rare feat signaling just how intense its weaponry is. And it's not just fighting one titan, it battles Godzilla and Kong at the same time, launching missile barrages alongside brutal melee attacks with claws and a whip-like tail. The kaiju versus machine fight turns Hong Kong into rubble, leveling landmarks with sustained urban destruction that local governments would hate. Though Mechagodzilla's armor is thick and imposing, it's not invincible. Kong's powered axe, supercharged by Godzilla's atomic breath, pierces the machine's defenses and triggers cascading system failures. As power nodes and conduits are destroyed, Mechagodzilla falls from unstoppable juggernaut to collapsing wreck, proving even the most advanced machines have a breaking point. This clash of sheer mechanical power against fragile electronics adds a rare strategic edge to kaiju battles. Here's the thing, all this city-level destruction stays localized. Mechagodzilla never causes planetary-scale damage. No massive storms or continent-shaking shockwaves, just intense contained carnage. That matters when sizing up its power versus world-altering monsters. Fans debate if Mechagodzilla really surpassed Godzilla or if its defeat was plot convenience. The film visually supports its dominance in key fights, but story demands it lose to Titan teamwork. The fight choreography highlights Mechagodzilla's brutal automation and Titan ferocity until it runs out of power. But if an unstoppable machine seems scary, wait till we talk about the three-headed golden menace who controls storms and titans alike. King Ghidorah, Monsterverse. King Ghidorah is basically the cosmic level biohazard of the Monsterverse kaijus. This alien three-headed dragon isn't just some oversized monster, he's described outright as a living extinction event, threatening Earth's entire ecosystem on a global scale. When Ghidorah shows up, it's not just about city destruction, it's planetary destabilization. Before you think this is just hype, here's the proof. Ghidorah can telepathically control other titans, turning them into his unstoppable army. That means he's not just a one-on-one fighter, he coordinates worldwide titan rampages, turning the planet's natural balance upside down. This telepathic alpha call causes titans to awaken and attack in a synchronized fury, which is why everywhere starts going sideways when he arrives. Physically, Ghidorah dwarfs Godzilla, standing taller with three independent heads capable of multi-directional attacks. Each head spits powerful gravity beams that vaporize titans and structures alike, cutting through skyscrapers and leviathans with ease. These aren't your average energy blasts. They possess raw destructive force that can obliterate enemies in a heartbeat. Then there's the environmental hell he unleashes. Ghidorah's presence anchors a never-ending superstorm over the Pacific Ocean that drastically alters weather patterns on a planetary level. This storm lingers long after his death, proof that his impact isn't just physical damage but systemic atmospheric disruption. Coastal regions and global climates face lasting consequences just from him flying overhead. In battles, Ghidorah pushes Godzilla to his limits and dominates until Godzilla taps into his burning state, powered by a nuclear meltdown and Mothra's sacrifice to finally turn the tides. This shows Ghidorah's baseline power matches or even exceeds Earth's apex titan, making him a godlike force. Here's where it gets weird. While Mechagodzilla matches Godzilla's beam strength in direct fights, it can't whip up superstorms or control titans telepathically. Ghidorah's influence easily outscales localized destruction, transforming him from mere monster to planetary-level environmental destabilizer. Community debates sometimes overreach, imagining Ghidorah wiping out continents in minutes. Cool theory, but it's more accurate he's a global biohazard whose full devastation unfolds over time through weather manipulation and titan control, not instant annihilation. This ties him more to ecological catastrophe than pure explosive power. So Ghidorah stands as the ultimate cosmic alpha titan until Godzilla's burning state pulls off the upset. If you thought Mechagodzilla was bad news, Ghidorah makes it look like a thunderstorm in comparison. Up next, the king of said thunderstorm himself, Godzilla. Monsterverse. Godzilla in the Monsterverse is the ultimate alpha titan, an ancient behemoth who feeds on radiation and sits atop the titan food chain. Clocking in at around 393 feet tall, he perfectly balances raw, overwhelming power with surgical precision, tearing through cities with targeted devastation rather than mindless destruction. This isn't just a rampaging monster. Godzilla is the planet's self-appointed guardian and a living force of nature charged with keeping Titankind and Earth itself in balance. His signature weapon is that electric blue atomic breath, which isn't just a city-level nuke blowout. Godzilla's beam is powerful enough to carve geological tunnels all the way down to the hollow Earth, literally reshaping the planet's crust in battle. That's some serious earth-carving power. And when pushed to his limits, he enters the infamous Burning Godzilla state, glowing like a thermonuclear furnace. In this mode, he unleashes a devastating pulse that can annihilate foes like King Ghidorah outright, while wreaking massive environmental damage around him. It's not just brute force, it's a display of cataclysmic nuclear fury. What makes MonsterVerse Godzilla special is his mastery of combining raw physical strength with immense energy projection, allowing him to switch effortlessly between massive slugfest brawling and long-range atomic attacks. His battles aren't just about smashing skyscrapers, they're strategic fights against other titans, where every blast and strike serves a purpose in maintaining planetary equilibrium. His role as the Apex Titan is well cemented in canon, with extensive depictions showcasing his ability to deal both localized destruction and damage on a scale that threatens entire regions. From cleaving tunnels through the Earth's crust to a fiery supernova blast that ends Ghidorah's reign, MonsterVerse Godzilla stands at the very peak of Titan power, combining terrifying ancient strength with devastating nuclear might. But if you thought that was the ultimate powerhouse, just wait until we dive into the unpredictable horrors lurking in Shin Godzilla. Shin Godzilla. Shin Godzilla is the definition of evolutionary horror kaiju, unstoppable, horrifying, and terrifyingly adaptive. Before you think it's just another Godzilla remake, hear me out. This version mutates on the fly, reconfiguring its biology faster than any military force can respond. It's less a monster and more a natural disaster incarnate, one that keeps evolving as it unleashes destruction. Officially, Shin Godzilla starts as a bizarre aquatic organism, but its final form towers taller than classic Godzillas, reaching an official height of 118 meters with its skeletal industrial grotesque design. What makes Shin stand out is its multi-channel energy beam arsenal. Unlike traditional Godzillas that fire just a single atomic breath, Shin fires simultaneous purple beams from its mouth, dorsal fins, and tail. Each of these beams can instantly obliterate objects thousands of meters away. These beams aren't just flashy, they combine for multi-dimensional area destruction. Imagine cutting swaths through entire city districts with one attack, mouth beams slicing through urban sprawl, dorsal beams sweeping the sky to take out aircraft, and the tail beam sealing off any escape routes. It's like a 3D nightmare of destruction all at once. Tokyo's devastation in the film shows just how ruthless Shin is. Its rampage obliterates tens of thousands of buildings, crippling an entire metropolis before human efforts barely scratch it. And here's where it gets really weird. From its tail sprout humanoid shapes that hint at future forms, maybe copies, or even worse mutations. The threat isn't over after this rampage. It could literally replicate or escalate into something even more catastrophic. Military responses relying on tanks, artillery, and even squads of high explosives practically bounce off it. Shin Godzilla demands novel biological intervention, an injection of blood coagulant chemicals to halt its internal mutations, which is more horror than heroics in combat. Conventional firepower is useless against an ever-adapting, radiating behemoth. The visuals make the scale painfully clear. Shots show skyscraper silhouettes next to beams that vaporize entire city blocks simultaneously, reinforcing that Shin Godzilla isn't just a monster, it's an unstoppable evolving force of urban and regional devastation. This multi-channel beam versatility combined with rapid adaptive mutation lands Shin Godzilla as one of the most terrifying kaiju ever, unstoppable, constantly shifting and raining destruction from multiple vectors all at once. If you thought Shin was intense, wait till we dive into Space Godzilla's extraterrestrial power next. Space Godzilla. Space Godzilla isn't just a giant lizard with a cosmic glow. He's basically Godzilla's evil sorcerer cousin from the vacuum of space. Formed when Godzilla's DNA was exposed to intense cosmic minerals and energies in outer space, this fusion turned into something way beyond brute strength. He operates both in orbit and on the surface, giving him a tactical advantage no regular kaiju can touch. Before you think he's just a flashy alien, Space Godzilla's psychic powers make him a nightmare on any battlefield. He wields telekinesis strong enough to hurl buildings and even control minds, plus telepathy and levitation to dodge attacks in style. Want to get technical? He manipulates massive crystalline structures. Think giant razor-sharp crystals that can act as shields or energy amplifiers. He can even form crystal barriers and make energy conduits on the fly, turning any fight into a chess match of offense and defense. When he squared off with Godzilla himself, Space Godzilla brought the heat, corona beams erupting in multiple directions, crystal halos spinning around him like a deadly crown, and attacks that literally warp the terrain beneath them. It's not just punching and biting here, it's an all-out psychic and elemental assault, a multi-dimensional threat that messes with both matter and mind. Now, fans love to debate who's more powerful, Space Godzilla with his strategic crystal and psychic mastery, or Destoroyah with his raw destructive power. The general consensus? Space Godzilla ranks just a notch below Destoroyah, thanks to his more subtle but no less devastating abilities. While films showcase his strong beams, levitation, and battlefield control, there's a scarcity of explicit energy stats, so scaling his ultimate power involves some educated guesswork. But make no mistake, he's a step above mere muscle monsters. Here's the thing, Space Godzilla isn't just a hulking brute, he's a cosmic sorcerer turning his battlefield into a surreal nightmare, forcing opponents into a multi-dimensional fight they don't fully understand. But if you think psychic kaiju are wild, wait until we get into the unstoppable force that is Destoroyah. Destoroyah is the ultimate biochemical nightmare born from one of Godzilla's most infamous weapons, the Oxygen Destroyer. Unlike just another giant monster, Destoroyah literally embodies the devastating chemical that ended the original Godzilla in 1954. This isn't just a creature, it's a living, evolving weapon of biochemical annihilation that starts microscopic before merging into a towering winged terror. Before you think it's just another monster with wings, hear me out. Destoroyah's final form isn't merely about size or brute force, it's about raw, corrosive power. It unleashes micro-oxygen beams that can literally dissolve through Godzilla's armored hide, something almost no kaiju can manage. This weaponized oxygen manipulation draws directly from its origin story, where oxygen atoms themselves become the source of destruction. Think of it as chemical warfare taken monstrous, and the data shows Destoroyah is no joke. When it fought Burning Godzilla at the latter's peak meltdown, arguably Godzilla's most destructive state, Destoroyah nearly defeated him, even drawing blood. That's like hurting the nuclear instinct of a walking atomic bomb. The battle raged across Tokyo, leveling the city with brutal destruction and atmospheric damage so severe it felt apocalyptic. Burning Godzilla was pushed to the limit, which few kaiju have managed. Here's where it gets weird. Fan power scaling often places Destoroyah's attack potency at solar system level. While the films don't show it flattening planets or stars, the logic is if it can harm a burning, overloaded Godzilla, implied to have near-planetary radiation output, then Destoroyah's attacks must be comparably immense. It's like judging a supernova by the scars it leaves dot beyond chemical and physical destruction. Destoroyah combines energy beams, flight agility, and brutal melee attack, making it the ultimate Heisei kaiju threat. It's not a one-trick pony, its moves blend chemical devastation with classic kaiju brutality and energy blasts, designed to overwhelm even the toughest opponents. Despite its terrifying power and rich lore, Destoroyah remains oddly under-discussed outside hardcore fans. Maybe it's the unsettling origin or lack of flashy atomic breath, but this beast is the apex of explicitly depicted kaiju power in film, a creature born from humanity's deadliest weapon, twisted into living biochemical ruin. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, click the video on the screen now.